So, the first season of Sailor Moon initially didn't leave the best taste in my mouth. I can enjoy and appreciate it now, but when I first watched it, there were only 4 or 5 episodes I actually liked. But regardless, I decided to push through and keep watching the series. Funny thing is, there wasn't originally going to be any more seasons or arcs beyond the first, but Naoko Takeuchi decided to continue the series because of how successful and popular it ended up being. And in 1993, the second season of Sailor Moon aired under the title of Sailor Moon R. And to this day, people still can't figure out what the R stands for. Seriously, is it Rose, Return, Romance? What does it stand for? Personally, I always thought it was Rose because of the R movie. Anyways, at one point, my thoughts on the series radically changed, so is Sailor Moon R that point? Well, let's find out. This is the second season of the Sailor Moon anime, Sailor Moon R. The story starts with Mamoru and Usagi. Wait, what? No, I don't want to talk about it. They can infer for themselves. Okay, fine. Okay, that's not the whole story. While waiting for Naoko Takeuchi to finish creating the Black Moon arc, which is the main story of this season, Toei Animations went ahead and created their own filler arc. Now, I personally would like to skip talking about this 13-episode arc altogether, because when most people talk about Sailor Moon R, they aren't talking about this part, they're talking about the Black Moon arc. But since it kind of explains how the Sailor Senshi and Tuxedo Mask are reawakened and how they get their new powers, oh fine, I'll talk about it. If I'm doing this, I'm doing it my own way. Hello everyone! My name is Tanner Hawkins, and I'm a f***ing weeaboo who shouldn't be allowed to have a YouTube channel, but does anyways. And welcome to a very obvious Kill la Kill reference I'm probably going to immediately regret making. Are we all ready? No? Who cares, we're going anyways. Twins, the male and Anne go to Earth and begin using the Cardian monster to steal energy from humans in order to keep their life source, the Makaiju, alive. Luna and Artemis reawaken the Senshi in order to deal with these new threats, but not to Tuxedo Mask for some reason. But luckily there's a new hero to save the Sailor Senshi named the Moonlight Knight who— whoa, stop! Whose idea was this? Seriously, whose god-awful idea was this? Like, who in their right mind thought it was a good idea to do this again? Everybody knows this is Mamoru! Everybody! I got sick of this in the first season and now they're doing it again? But this time even more obvious? Oh no, I'm sorry, they're completely different. Tuxedo Mask throws red roses while Moonlight Knight throws white roses. Now I see why people would be confused. Seriously, screw the Moonlight Knight. That's probably the dumbest idea the original anime ever had. Moving on. Queen Serenia's soul returns the Silver Crystal to Sailor Moon, and now it's her transformation item instead of her weapon for some reason. But she still gets a new weapon and attack. Oh, and the other Senshi also get a new attack that they basically never use. The Senshi confront Alan and Anne at the Makaiju and lose the battle horribly. Then there's a plot twist that I saw coming multiple episodes away, just like the first season. The Makaiju is actually being killed by the energy Alan and Anne were giving it, and it's actually nutrition as Moon fills the tree with her love and returns it back to the sprout. And big f***ing surprise, Aladdin is actually Mamoru. More specifically, his spirit and memories. He then fuses with Mamoru, allowing him to remember everything and be Tuxedo Mask again. The two twats and their giving tree go home, and thank Christ it's over. Let's move on to the real part of this season. It isn't that this arc is particularly horrible, save from a few choices it makes, and I actually do enjoy quite a few of the episodes, and it does do a good job explaining how the Senshi and Tuxedo Mask get their powers and memories back. However, the main story of the arc is nowhere near as interesting as any of the other arcs in the season. It makes a lot of really stupid choices, and I personally have extreme negative feelings towards it, because I almost quit watching Sailor Moon as a whole because of it. If it weren't for hearing how good the rest of R is, and, in turn, the rest of the series, I would have dropped the series as a whole and thought of it as incredibly mediocre at best and just straight up bad at its worst. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to ignore the fact that this arc exists for the rest of the review. As I was saying, the season starts with Mamoru and Usagi on a date, when a child also named Usagi suddenly falls from the sky and interrupts them. I wonder why they have the same name and hairstyle. Everyone opts to call her Chibiusa to avoid confusion, though. She asks Usagi where the silver crystal is and then pulls out a gun and Okay, sorry, I'll just let SMA Sailor Mars speak for the scene.
Holy sh**, the toddler has a gun! Amazing headshot! Oh,
Since that doesn't work, Chibiusa hypnotizes Usagi's family into allowing her to stay with them so that she can search for it. Usagi interrogates her, but she goes a bit too far and causes a crescent moon symbol to appear on her forehead. I wonder why she would have that. Seriously, if you can't figure out who she actually is by the end of the second episode, then there's something wrong. Enter the Black Moon Clan, the group of evildoers for this season whose intent is to capture Chibiusa and prevent the existence of the future city of Crystal Tokyo. Oh boy, time travel. My least favorite plot element in any form of media. In fact, there's only been one piece of media that I think has handled time travel well. And in my opinion, Sailor Moon is one of the worst users of time travel in all its incarnations. Not because it particularly has a ton of plot holes, though I'm sure there are plenty, but to this day I still can't figure out how its time travel mechanics work. It It just completely boggles my mind anytime I try to think about it. Oh, and the clan also has these monsters of the week known as droids that do stuff sometimes. Honestly, these are probably the most forgettable monster of the week type enemies in the entire series. They're all incredibly irrelevant, and their designs blend in with the Yoma and Cardians. The only unique thing about them is the jewel on their foreheads. Seriously, I forgot these things even existed, and what they even did. But I could remember the Cardians clearly, the enemies from the most forgettable and bland arc in the series. After sudden cardiac arrest during a jog, Mamoru just decides he doesn't like Usagi anymore and decides to break up with her. What's odd about this plot point is that it's simultaneously one of my favorite and least favorite plot points in the original anime. Favorite because of the feels, least favorite because of how it's resolved, but I'll get into that later. Luna and Artemis give the Inner Senshi new transformation pins to help them fight off the new enemies, and thus they gain new powers, attacks, and slightly different transformation sequences. The scene always felt a bit awkward to me. Every other season there's a reason that everybody gets their new powers, for instance a magical unicorn showing up and giving it to them. Okay, saying that out loud makes it sound even more stupid, but I swear in the context of that season it makes sense. But here, Luna and Artemis just sort of give these stronger pins to them, like they've had them sitting in the HQ this whole time and only just thought about giving them out. It'd be like if instead of Link having to earn the Master Sword, Navi just decided to randomly give it to him halfway through the game. You know, you two, these would have been helpful last season. Maybe everybody wouldn't have died if they had these stronger powers back then. Over time, the Sailor Senshi began reasoning with the members of the Black Moon clan and turning them back into humans. As for why Sailor Moon bothers turning them into powerless humans, I will never know. Seriously, they have attacks too, of which are basically equal to all your attacks. So they could easily join your side and fight with you if you allowed them to stay in their Black Moon forms. It would give you double the firepower and make it all the easier to win battles. The four Spectre sisters even addressed this issue in one of the last episodes. Rubius tries to suicide bomb Sailor Moon and Chibiusa but fails miserably and replaced by Esmeralda, who I will proceed to call by her dub name Emerald just because it's so much easier to pronounce. In fact, I'm doing that for the rest of the Black Moon clan as well. You aren't Saphir, you're Sapphire, and you're not Prince Diamond, you're Prince Diamond. Sorry if this offends any sub-purists out there, but trust me, it will cut down on the amount of retakes I have to do while recording this by a ton. Moving on. Emerald proceeds to do absolutely jack squat for now, but now we can have subplot closure. Yay! One night Usagi suddenly has a dream saying that if she marries Mamoru, then she will die and the world will end. She immediately confronts Mamoru about this and discovers that he was also having these dreams. She tells him that what happens in the future doesn't matter to her and that she just wants to be with him no matter what. It takes some time, but eventually is convinced they get back together. Yay! For all they know, they just condemn the universe to death. But oh no, this isn't the awful conclusion I mentioned earlier, but we're getting there. Chibiusa warms up to Usagi and the others and agrees to take them back to the future with her. In order to come to the past, Chibiusa used something called the Space-Time Key. She holds it in the air and uses it to teleport them to the Space-Time Door. However, when they arrive, they're attacked by a lady with a massive key until Chibiusa stops her. And surprise, surprise, that lady is none other than a new Sailor Senshi, Sailor Pluto, the guardian of space and time. Forced to a life of solitude guarding the door of space and time, Sailor Pluto's sole purpose is standing in one spot and ensuring that nobody commits the taboo of time travel. Wow, that sounds like a boring job. Being Sailor Pluto must suck. Then again, Sailor Pluto kind of sucks. She stands still for eternity and only has one thing to do, make sure that nobody time travels. Which sounds like it'd be a pretty easy job considering time traveling involves going through two giant loud doors. Sneaking through that thing would be dang near impossible. Plus she's an outer Sailor Senshi who, as we learn in the next season, are vastly superior to the inner Senshi in terms of strength. Yet somehow people time travel constantly in this season, both heroes and villains. You literally have one job, Sailor Pluto, one job, an easy one at that, and you consistently screw it up. Whatever, so Sailor Pluto lets them through the door and they all arrive in the future. When they arrive in the future, they're greeted by Tuxedo Max's future self, King Endymion, who reveals himself as the person who is projecting those dreams into Mamoru. He says he did it in order to test the strength of their love? Okay, let's just talk about how little sense this plot twist actually makes. First of all, there's the fact that it's a stupid plan. Why not just tell them to become closer? What would you have done if they actually decided to leave each other alone forever? Then you and Chibiusa wouldn't exist. Sounds like you didn't think through this plan very well. Not to mention it was unnecessary. The relationship has lived on for over 1,000 years, and through 2 deaths resulting in amnesia upon reincarnation. I think their love is strong enough as is. Heck, you should know that better than anyone considering you've been married to Usagi for about 10 centuries and seem to have no issues with your love. There are just so many things wrong with this conclusion. Look, here's a much better version of this plot that I came up with in like 1 minute. What if it turned out Wiseman using the Black Crystal to give Mamoru and Usagi those visions in order to prevent Chibiusa's birth, but the strength of their loves allows them to see through Wiseman's lies? Yeah, it's not perfect and it's kind of predictable, but I literally just came up with this on the spot and it's already better than the real version. At least it actually makes sense. King Endymion then explains how the Black Moon Clan and Crystal Tokyo came to be. A long time ago, the world froze over and entered into an ice age, but then in the 30th century, Usagi awakened as Neo Queen Serenity and used the Silver Crystal to bring the Earth back and enter it into a new age. However, there were some people who refused to accept the Silver Crystal's gifts and fled to the secret 10th planet in the solar system, Nemesis. Wait, why would you refuse an eternally happy life? Oh wait, they're evil, we can't use logic for them. On Nemesis, these people gained supernatural powers and became the Black Moon Clan and proceeded to attack Crystal Tokyo. In the end, only the Crystal Palace remained thanks to the power of the future Solar Senshi. However, Neo Queen Serenity fell into a deep sleep during the attack due to the mysterious disappearance of the Silver Crystal. Oh, and Chibiusa is Usagi and Mamoru's daughter.
What a twist!
Who could have ever seen that coming? Sailor Moon tries to use her Silver Crystal to reawaken Neo Queen Serenity, but she fails. Chibiusa runs off in agony, and yeah, that never ends well. Why aren't you running after her? Well, that's stupid reasoning. Ever think what if she doesn't stay in the palace? She does this sort of thing the entire series. You should be used to it and expecting it at this point. Remember, when Chibiusa runs off crying, chase after her. Well, she isn't just running in sadness that the plan didn't work, she's actually feeling incredibly guilty. Right before the attack on Crystal Tokyo, Chibiusa went to borrow the Silver Crystal to prove that she's Neo Queen Serenity's daughter. But the moment she touched it, it vanished and the Black Moon started attacking. Well, in swoops Wiseman, the one pulling the strings behind the Black Moon Clan, who takes advantage of these memories and emotions to kidnap her. And then he kills Emerald because... reasons? She asks him to give her more power so that Prince Diamond will love her instead of Neo Queen Serenity, and then he just kills her. Yeah, how dare you want to be more powerful? How dare you want to help us achieve our goals and actually win? Stupid Emerald. He then proceeds to take advantage of more of Chibiusa's memories to fill her with hatred, which transforms her into the evil Black Lady. Now that they have Chibiusa on their side, the preparations for their final plan is finally complete. Prince Diamond, Black Lady, and Wiseman all return to the past to build something called the Dark Gate, and once Sailor Pluto informs them of this, the Solar Senshi and Tuxedo Mask return to the past as well. Prince Diamond's brother, Sapphire, stays in the future to watch over the Black Crystal. However, while doing so, he discovers that Wiseman is just using the Black Moon Clan as puppets to release a being known as the Death Phantom, who will destroy the universe and all its beings. He goes to the past to inform Prince Diamond that they were being manipulated, but just as he does, Wiseman swoops in and kills him. The Sailor Senshi and Tuxedo Mask enter the Dark Gate, but Sailor Moon gets separated from the others and finds herself in front of Prince Diamond. He tries to force Sailor Moon to fall in love with and kiss him, but she breaks free from his spell and tells him that you can't force someone to love someone else. And then immediately afterwards he says this beautiful line: "Until we destroy humanity on Earth, there is no light in our future." Did I miss a sentence or something? How do you get from don't force people to kiss others to I have to kill everyone for a good future? Yeah, that seems like good dialogue progression. Completely natural. Well, Sailor Moon tells Diamond that he actually doesn't have to commit mass genocide for happiness, yeah, imagine that. And that's exactly what Sapphire was trying to tell him before dying. And then Diamond tries to kill Wiseman and fails. But he gets pretty close to give him props. The other Sailor Senshi and Tuxedo Mask conveniently just now catch up to Sailor Moon, and they all head to the center of the Dark Gate, which is conveniently shaped like a battle arena. Black Lady appears and tries to kill Sailor Moon, but Tuxedo Mask jumps in the way. For some reason, Black Lady is surprised by this. Total stranger. You know full well that Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask know each other. They're your parents, for God's sake. And saving Sailor Moon is basically the sole purpose he exists, so you probably shouldn't be that surprised. Black Lady attacks all of them, but then suddenly Neo Queen Serenity transmits herself into Sailor Moon. How does that work? They're multiple centuries apart. Neo Queen Serenity reminds her of all the happy times they had together, which reminds Black Lady that she is loved, turning her back into Chibiusa. Unfortunately, Black Lady had already finished opening up the Dark Gate before she turned back into Chibiusa, and now Wiseman's ready to destroy everything. Oh, and surprise, Wiseman's actually Death Phantom. Wait, then why does he need to release himself if he's already outside the gate? I give up. This revelation also makes some previous scenes seem pretty stupid because he refers to himself in third person and first person at the same time, even when he's alone and has no need to worry about revealing his identity. Neo Queen Serenity tries to use the Silver Crystal to fight off Wiseman and the Black Crystal, but she was too weak after using it to heal Black Lady. Chibiusa begins to cry to Tuxedo Mask in guilt when suddenly one of her tears turns into the legendary Silver Crystal from the future. You see, when Chibiusa originally touched the Silver Crystal, it was absorbed into her body. Okay, that was actually a pretty clever twist, having the future Silver Crystal form from one of Chibiusa's tears, the same way Usagi's was formed from the first season. Chibiusa puts on her princess getup and combines her power with Neo Queen Serenity to destroy Wiseman and the Black Crystal. And because there were two Silver Crystals at work, life was being poured into both of them from the other, so neither of them died. Everyone says goodbye to Chibiusa as she returns to the future, she hugs Neo Queen Serenity, and the Sailor Moon arc comes to a close. Aside from certain elements, the plot of the season was fantastic. The main plot of this season with Chibiusa, Crystal Tokyo, and the fight against the Black Moon Clan was great already, but then on top of that they added a bunch of side plots into the mix which only made the season better. There was the story with the Spectre sisters, the relationship issues with Usagi and Mamoru, Chibiusa making friends at school, etc. And these side plots are much more interesting and are executed far better than the first seasons. Sorry, I know there are a lot of people who liked it, but I just could not get into the Nephrite and Naru arc from the first season. But in this season I never felt that way, I was always interested in what was going on with all the characters. However, the story isn't perfect, there are quite a few problems. For one, especially near the end, there are a lot of really stupid and nonsensical plot points. Many of the aforementioned great side plots just resulted in disappointment. Also, on top of that, and I showed a few of these during the plot summary, certain lines and dialogue progressions in this season were incredibly awkward and just made no sense. I don't know, maybe it's just a translation issue on Viz's part. But the characters, oh man, the characters. I think this season just absolutely perfected characterization and character interactions. They struck the absolute perfect balance with Minako between her more mature personality and her original self from Codename Sailor V. Rei is less mean-spirited towards Usagi, and holy crap, I can actually believe Usagi and Mamoru's relationship for once. And speaking of Mamoru, I think it's like the only season he has personality and character development. And I haven't even started talking about the Black Moon family yet. The Spectre Sisters, Sapphire, Prince Diamond, this season has the absolute best, most interesting, and well-developed cast of villains in the entire series. With Wiseman being the exception, he's probably the lamest main villain of the series. I can't really think of anything I dislike about the characters in this season. Well, with one little exception. Let's talk about Chibiusa, or as I like to call her,
the pig demon spawn from hell.
Chibiusa is infuriating. She's an annoying, bratty, spoiled little shit that I can't stand to watch, especially in all the episodes before Ribiusa's death. At least she gets a little bit better after that. Yeah, whatever, she misses her mom, she had traumatic experiences, blah blah blah. I don't think that excuses half the things she does or the way she acts. Not to mention her plan makes no sense. Okay, so she wants to take Usagi's silver crystal to save her mom, but the last time she tried to take the silver crystal, it vanished and caused the whole Black Moon situation. If she was really traumatized by something like this, logically it seems like she would never want to touch another silver crystal again, especially when this one is her last hope of saving her mom. Oh wait just a minute, I just thought of something. She knows her mom has the silver crystal and once fought as Sailor Moon in the past. She knows Usagi has the silver crystal, so how does she not realize that Usagi is Sailor Moon and her mom until she sees Usagi transform? I can accept her not being able to draw the conclusion that the other Sailor Senshi are the other girls, but this is just unexcusable. But regardless of all this, tell me Chibiusa, if this did somehow all work out and you brought Usagi's silver crystal back to the future with you, what the hell would you do with it? Usagi is the only one that can use it! Oh, you sociopathic little piece of... She's the biggest problem in this season in my opinion, but to give her credit, at least it leaves room for the slight character development she gets. The animation is basically the same quality as the first season, but very slightly better. I just noticed less really awkward moments. They're still here, just nowhere near as much. The instrumental soundtrack for this season is honestly the weakest in the series in my opinion. Note that I'm purely talking about the new songs added in the season. Not to say that it's bad, no, far from it. But compared to the other seasons, there are far less themes I find super memorable. Off the top of my head, I can only think of the transformation theme, the attack theme, and this song. Yeah, that one, I can't remember the name, I'm sorry. But to give it credit, those songs are really good. I love the transformation theme in this season. Even better than the last season, in my opinion. However, while the instrumental soundtrack for this season was the weakest, the vocal soundtrack is fantastic. Lost Soldier is an awesome final battle theme, far better than Moonlight Densetsu, and I Know Senshi is actually my favorite vocal theme in the series. The opening theme is still the same, though we do have 2 new opening animations. They're pretty good, but I still prefer the first season's second opening animation. And we do have a new ending theme, Otome no Policy. It's pretty good, but compared to the others, it's probably my second least favorite ending theme in the series. Again, not to say it's bad, I actually really like the theme. I'm just talking purely out of comparison, and it's up against some pretty tough competition. But the ending animation blows the first season's ending animations out the water. My thoughts on this season's dubs are basically the same as my thoughts on the first season's dubs. So yeah, just go watch that part of my review on the first season if you need that repeated. But to add something, I will say that I think both of these dubs are overall better than the first season's. In both cases, I really think this is where the voice actors started to get into their roles. However, unlike the first season, I don't prefer the Deke Dub's final battle theme over the original version. The Power of Love is an awesome song, and I'll elaborate on it more during the Arm review, since I think it's better used there, but I think Lost Soldier just fits better with this final battle. Also, songs aside, there's just a ton more emotion in the original. Huh, funny how things reverse like that. The rest of the season improved, but the final battle, which was my favorite part of the old dub's first season, got worse. Overall, Sailor Moon R is great. It takes everything that made the first season enjoyable and then amplified it 100-fold. Many character relationships and personalities I feel were perfected in this season, and the filler episodes, with a few exceptions, really started to hit their stride here. The main plot is great and interesting, and in my opinion it completely trumps the first season story, and the villains, with Wiseman being an exception, were the most interesting and well developed in the entire series. This season is what completely changed my mind about Sailor Moon, and I'd like to imagine that it isn't because of Stockholm Syndrome. It changed from being an incredibly repetitive and annoying show with a few entertaining moments, to a super fun experience with amazing characters, comedy, and some pretty good action too. I think it's a genuine testament to its quality that I can enjoy it so much despite time travel being a prominent story element. The season isn't perfect, there are plenty of problems, but still definitely an enjoyable time, and I enjoyed nearly every second of it. Again, the show can be watched in the US on both Hulu and Neon Alley, in both Japanese and the New English dub. Yeah, I know Hulu is subscription only now, but it can still be streamed from Neon Alley for free. And hey, I'm not sure if I have any Canadian viewers out there, but ever since my last review, the show became available on the website TubiTV. So yeah, now you can guys stream the show too. Man, I was excited to rewatch this one. I absolutely cannot wait to get into the next season, Sailor Moon S. However, before I do that, I'm going to be taking a bit of a detour, as there was a movie release for Sailor Moon R, and as I do plan on reviewing the movies, I'm going to be heading into that... Hold on. What day is it? shoot, I'm late. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. You know the rest. Bye. Next time, Sailor Moon. Finally, Mamoru comes out the closet and reveals he used to have an alien boyfriend named Fiore. Fiore comes back to give the universe's largest and most beautiful flower to Mamoru, but the evil Usagi, supported by her sailor goons, don't understand true love and want to keep Mamoru from themselves. Can Mamoru and Fiore conquer the forces of het shippers and finally be reunited? And will Tanner be able to finish his review in time while the movie is still in theaters? Find out in a story of true love, action, flower obsession, and gay jokes. Gay jokes galore. Next time, it's Sailor Moon R, the movie.